Our knowledge has made us cynical, our cleverness hard and unkind. We think too much and feel too little. More than machinery, we need humanity.
Welcome to MsMojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 classic Hollywood movies that were controversial upon release.
Brought me nothing but trouble, ow, and more trouble. This where the trouble is, and this the place I belongs away from.
For this list, we'll be looking at movies from the golden age of Hollywood that generated controversy and scandal when they came out. To keep things classic and Hollywood-centric, we're only including movies made and released in America before 1970. Did any of these controversial releases surprise you? Sound off in the comments. Number 10. The Outlaw. Director and Hollywood heavyweight Howard Hughes knew how to sell a movie.
What's your name?
Rio.
What's the rest of it?
McDonald.
McDonald.
His 1943 Western, The Outlaw, made its busty new ingenue Jane Russell the focus of its promotional campaign. While the actress became a sex symbol, the movie ran into censorship trouble because of Russell's prominent bust as featured in the movie.
What does that lollipop mean? Something sweet. Sweet? Mm-hmm. Sweet, like candy, you know, dulce. Oh. Is that a fact?
Rather than shy away from the stink of the controversy, Howard Hughes leaned into the scandal. To keep the movie from being banned outright, he actually began spreading the word that The Outlaw was a flagrant assault on American morality. As expected, audiences clamored for it.
What's he doing?
He's not going to try to stop you.
How do you know?
He told me so.
Number 9. Citizen Kane. Without any cultural context, Orson Welles' masterpiece probably doesn't seem all that controversial to a modern audience. However, the megalomaniacal newspaper mogul at its center ran a little too close to the real life of newspaper mogul William Randolph Hearst.
Is that really your idea of how to run a newspaper?
I don't know how to run a newspaper, Mr. Thatcher. I just try everything I can think of.
Enraged by the film even before its release, Hearst used his own newspaper and his influence within Hollywood to effectively shadow ban the film. He also played into pre-World War II xenophobia and anti-Semitism by threatening to expose the large number of German refugees and Jewish people working in Hollywood.
To point out and make public the dishonesty, the downright villainy of boss Jim W. Getty's political machine.
Despite good reviews and later being hailed as a masterpiece, many of the artists associated with the film blamed Hearst's underhanded tactics for its underperformance at the box office.
Headline.
News wasn't big enough.
Mr. Carter, if the headline is big enough, it makes the news big enough.
Number 8. Midnight Cowboy. For many cinephiles, this Best Picture winner was the death knell for classic Hollywood movies as we knew it.
Hey, you really know the ropes.
Oh, damn, I wish I bumped into you before.
I'm Joe Buck from Texas.
Enrico Rizzo from the Bronx.
And
Midnight Cowboy followed a kindly male sex worker and his conman friend as they navigated the seedy underworld of New York City. It broke all the previously established rules in its frank depiction of sex work and poverty.
I like the way I look. Makes me feel good. It does. And women like me, goddammit. Hell, the only one thing I've ever been good for is loving.
However, its depiction of homosexuality seems to be what the MPA took the most issue with. They slapped the movie with an X rating, which might have killed its box office potential in the past.
Well, I'll tell you the truth now, I ain't a real cowboy, but I am one hell of a stud.
A very expensive stud, and I happen to be his manager.
However, its success in theaters and at the 1970 Academy Awards showed that American viewing habits had outgrown the more restrictive confines of the Hays Production Code. Number 7. Bonnie and Clyde. If Midnight Cowboy was the last nail in old Hollywood's coffin, Bonnie and Clyde was one of the first.
Ain't you ashamed? You're trying to steal an old lady's automobile.
Oh, come on now, what you talking about? I've been thinking about buying me one.
Fool. You ain't got money for dinner, let alone buy no car.
This violent and darkly comic biopic of the notorious bank robber signaled a shift in what could be shown on screen. Its main source of controversy was the graphic and callous depiction of violence.
Well, I'm Miss Bonnie Parker, and this here's Mr. Clyde Barrow. We rob banks.
Film critics like Bosley Crowther launched public smear campaigns against the film and others like it. Warner Brothers seemed hesitant to market Bonnie and Clyde at all, opting to lose out on potential earnings than risk the outrage a wide release might bring.
One time I told you I was gonna make you somebody, that's what you done for me. You made me somebody they gonna remember.
In spite of its detractors, the movie was saved by critics like Roger Ebert and Pauline Kael, who argued for its merits as a groundbreaking new American classic.
Hey.
Number 6. The Great Dictator. Charles Chaplin's satirical send-up of Adolf Hitler came at a particularly fraught moment in history. In 1940, America was still at peace with Germany, even as the Nazis began invading neighboring countries. Chaplin's populist humor and leftist political leanings already made him a favorite villain of fascists like Hitler and Italy's Mussolini.
Why not? Art Caesar, art nullus. The world is effete, worn out, afraid. No nation would dare to oppose you. Dictator of the world. Your destiny.
In The Great Dictator, he turned Hitler's mannerisms and brutish evil into something worthy of ridicule. The film's final speech is a rousing call against fascism, which was especially controversial due to many Americans' non-interventionist beliefs regarding the growing unrest in Europe.
Greed has poisoned men's souls, has barricaded the world with hate, has goose-stepped us into misery and bloodshed.
Although the movie did very well with the public, Chaplin's overt politics angered many and would make him the target of anti-communist sentiment for years to come.
Let us fight for a world of reason, a world where science and progress will lead to all men's happiness. Soldiers, in the name of democracy, let us all unite!
Number 5. The Man with the Golden Arm. Frank Sinatra was still building his legend when he took the role of someone with substance use disorder.
Clean? Yep. Good kid. Enough already. Buy me a drink.
Sure. Look what the cat dragged in. See that?
You're gone so long, I thought maybe you was made for it.
Before The Man with the Golden Arm was even filmed, censors were all over the script, removing any explicit reference to drugs or the drug trade. Director Otto Preminger and United Artists actually released the film before it had a seal of approval from the Production Code Authority, a huge move against the long-followed Production Code.
Because I sit here, you think I don't know what goes on?
Not 2 words.
I know plenty.
Fittingly, it was Preminger's previous film, The Moon is Blue, that was the first major American release to forego a PCA seal of approval. Despite pushback, theater owners and distributors seemed to think The Man with the Golden Arm was too important to withhold from the public.
Pretty good, huh, Molly?
Take it slow now.
Oh, I'm all right. It's a little rocky.
Number 4. Scarface. Hollywood in the early 1930s was a wild west as far as graphic content was concerned, but Scarface was a bridge too far. This foundational gangster film is an endless onslaught of gunfire and unsavory behavior.
Listen, little boy, in this business there's only one law you gotta follow to keep out of trouble. Do it first, do it yourself, and keep on doing it.
It proved so controversial that it is cited as one of the movies responsible for the creation of the Production Code in 1934. Italian Americans across the country decried its portrayal of Italian immigrants, and censorship boards denied permits to exhibit it in certain states.
Some little typewriter, right? I'm gonna write my name all over this town with it in big letters.
Even after Scarface found some box office success despite being re-edited to appease censors and special interest groups, producer Howard Hughes pulled the film from distribution. It wouldn't be widely available again until after his death in 1976.
I don't steal! I don't steal! No one can get in here! Let's just you and me, huh? We lick them all! It's north side, it's south side! We lick the whole world!
Number 3. Song of the South. Given the response to Song of the South before and after it was made, there were plenty of people who knew it was wrong-headed from the start. Even in 1946, many audience members saw the movie's regurgitation of racist stereotypes, blackface minstrelsy, and infantilizing caricatures of black people for exactly what it was.
He left his old troubles behind, all right, but he was heading straight for a whole mess of brand new trouble.
The National Negro Congress organized picket lines outside of theaters that exhibited the film. Even white film critics who admired the movie's technical brilliance found it hard not to comment on its retrograde racial politics.
He learned a powerful lesson, but he learned it too late. But it just goes to show you what comes of mixing up with something you got no business with in the first place. And don't you never forget it.
Though Disney re-released the movie theatrically several times, they have yet to release it on home video in the US. The movie still makes headlines for its presence, however small, in Disney merchandise and theme parks, though not for long.
Criticized for racial stereotypes and its nostalgic view of the post-Civil War South. The ride will be redesigned with Disney's Princess and the Frog in mind.
Number 2. Freaks. Todd Browning's 1932 horror movie about performers in a carnival freak show had very few fans.
They did not ask to be brought into the world, but into the world they came.
Some said it was exploitative of its stars, who were real sideshow performers with real physical disabilities. Many, though, were just repulsed by the movie, its characters, and the horrors visited on them and those who crossed them. One woman at a test screening is rumored to have threatened a lawsuit against MGM for causing her miscarriage. Even after editing the movie down to just over an hour, MGM took a huge loss with the movie, which would go on to garner a bit of a following.
How she got that way will never be known. Some say a jealous lover. Others, that it was the code of the freaks. Others, the storm. Believe it or not, there she is.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. The Birth of a Nation. Depending on who you talk to, D.W. Griffith's 1915 epic is either the most despicable movie ever made or the first cinematic masterpiece. To many, it's both. The Birth of a Nation is credited with popularizing, if not downright inventing, techniques such as the dramatic close-up, cross-cutting, and tracking shots. It's also credited with reviving the Ku Klux Klan, which had been dormant for nearly 50 years when it was released. The movie, which valorizes the Klan and portrays its African-American characters, played by white actors in blackface, as unintelligent and violent, inspired protests, racist attacks, and an entire controversy surrounding President Woodrow Wilson's reported admiration of the film. To this day, it remains a figure of heated debate in film circles. Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from MsMojo. And be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.